I will say one thing. These guys do not like to waste any time at all. We're back for game number 2 of this best of 3 set between Fundamentals and EDP. Lots of fake outs with the lock-ins. It is going to be the Slims banned out by EDP there as Fundamentals take out the Rourke. So what can change after game number 1? Well, the first thing is Fundamentals, they have to team fight a little bit better. There were just times where they were getting smacked by a lot of AoE, and EDP were taking advantage of the fact that the grouping was a bit much for Fundamentals. Also, Triple X, he's a very swaggy player. He knows his stuff, but sometimes he gets a little bit too intense. Sometimes he just likes to jump in the middle of the fight, and as a Slims, that's a really good way of getting yourself taken out. He still had a great match, did a lot of work for his team, but in the end, it just becomes a little bit too little too late. So, more bans coming out. Lindis taken out by Fundamentals. Arum taken out by EDP. Not too much of a surprise there. It was banned out in game 1.
Red team's turn to ban.
And we also have a Superman banned out by Fundamentals, even though they are the first pick here. So, just not really a Superman player on that team, I guess. The Flash, it's not a bad ban. Still very strong. Now, a couple things that we haven't seen. We haven't seen a Crixie in the mid lane. Everything else that I think is pretty strong, we have seen. I mean, maybe you get your off-pick Prada. You know, Natalia isn't bad either. Maybe we see a bit of a change up, but for the mid lane. But that lane wasn't really touched too much at all in the bans. It was a lot of marksmen taken out. All right. So Zephys locked in for Triple X. He definitely likes that hero quite a bit. And with the Zenial not being banned out, it's been left in the pool. Colossal Blitz could pick it up for EDP here. Also, the Scud had a great showing in game number 1. Was a big team fight presence for his team. Did a lot of work. And it's going to be the Scud Zenial to start it out for EDP. It's like the first time that I've seen Zenial getting through. Fundamentals thinking about Malik Tolan. Slam has been putting a lot of work in as that Tolan, so I would expect him to have a good performance here, but this, with their backs against the wall here, I expect Fundamentals to just go for their best heroes. Just go all out, look for the heroes that they play the best so that they can try to put the hurt on EDP. It wasn't really the best showing for them in the last one. And I think they can do it. I think they can get a lot of work done here. I would not expect this to be a blowout at all. Possibly a Morin for EDP. That's usually something that we see Fundamentals picking up. And a Teamy, a very strong hero for EDP to play here. And it's going to be the Morin Teamy, as we saw with the hovers. Not changing that up at all. Wasim, he is very confident in his ability there. We've seen what Triple X can do with the Morin. Let's see how Wasim's will measure up here. Fundamentals having a little bit of fun with their last couple of picks. Arduin has been a pretty good hero for YKT. He's been doing some work, but unfortunately it just hasn't been enough. And 12 Nuns going for the Lumber once again. Very similar lineup to game number 1, only the OG Fundamentals picking up their different heroes here. And as we said, Crixie, one of those heroes we haven't seen a whole lot of in this series, in this event so far. Hovered over by support only, but I wouldn't be surprised to see the Raz either. It is what he played in the last game. But hey, both very strong heroes and devastating in the right hands. All right. So Mina ends up getting locked in, which means that, none of those mages end up getting picked up for EDP. Maybe they're going for a bit of cheese. And, it ain't easy being cheesy. So I'm more than happy to see what they have cooked up for us here. It should be a lot of fun. This is game number 2 of the best of 3 between EDP and Fundamentals. And it will be getting started just in a minute. So while you're watching, you can use the exclamation bracket command in the chat to see how things are going for the entire bracket. And also, if you want to follow the PVL on Twitter, use the exclamation PVL Twitter command, as well as exclamation PVL Discord to get access to all those other things. If you want to follow me, I would appreciate it. I am on Twitter at PythianLegume. You can use the exclamation Twitter without PVL in front of it to figure out where to get a link to that as well. I think in the future I may end up tweeting that I'm doing this. It is strange to me, casting over a mobile game, but hey, the future is coming, so you gotta move along with it. And AOV is not a bad game. It's actually kind of cool. It is kind of cool for me to watch. So I want to thank you all for sticking around until the end of the stream here. I really appreciate it, and I hope that you can enjoy this game 2 with me. Could go to game 3 if Fundamentals come back here, but it will be a tough task indeed. Alright, so let's... Thank you for the follow. Near Chaos. Let's go through and introduce our teams. Here on the blue side for Fundamentals, we've got 12 Nuns playing the Lumber, Slam on the Tolan, Triple X playing the Zephies. We've got YKT on the Arduin, and then finally Kefla handling the Malik. No invades going on just yet. Miku will be playing the Teamy rather, in the mid lane. Colossal Blitz handling the Mina. We got Paranoia. He's playing a Zenial here. Support only on the Scud. And then finally Wasim handling the Morin for EDP. YKT looking for the Sage Golem here. He's just kind of moving it around, seeing if he could go for some kind of invade, set it up for his team. But interesting, a teamy on the mid lane. That's not something you see every day. And he might be looking for this one. Couldn't quite get the stun out on the Slam, and that's going to mean that Slam manages to move and continue to stay alive on the mid lane. Triple X securing his own jungle. And we take a look at the Lumber versus Zenial top. It's not a bad matchup. Looking towards the Abyssal Dragon. Colossal Blitz possibly caught in a bit far. Still only level 1. YKT not hitting that stun. That could have been a great setup for taking the Mina down. But instead, she will stay alive. And now Morin gets that magnetic field up. Already level 4 on the mid lane. Gets taken down quite low by Triple X's Zephys. And might be looking for some aggression into the jungle. Triple X going forward. He is a bit deep, though. Miku X looking to get in. But again, his ally is blocking that hook. And he can't get in for the stun, allowing Fundamentals to secure that jungle camp. Now, Abyssal Dragon has spawned. Support only rolling on in. Triple X in some trouble, but he will get stunned out by YKT. Arduin getting it there. That should open up the Abyssal Dragon for Fundamentals. And they take the first one of the game. So with that, they can continue to push out these lanes, still keeping an eye on this top lane battle between Paranoia and 12 Nuns, because remember that the Zenial can move anywhere on the map at just a moment's notice. YKT gets the rend on the Colossal Blitz, and here comes that bird out of Slam. He'll take down the Mina. No reaction out of Zenial just yet. You do have to wait for the correct time in order to throw that out. Miku gets a stun out on the Slam. Has a little bit of fun there. But we're still just moving around. Still waiting for when Zenial decides to get involved. It gets a nice flyover to the Lumber. There's a really good name for that ability. That's one of the things that I have to put a lot more effort into learning now, ability names, because you know you can just play the game, you know what stuff does, you don't have to think about it too much. But as a caster, you probably should know what things are called. And we're still learning this game. YKT all on his lonesome at bottom. We've got a play being set up in the top lane for fundamentals. They could go for a couple jungle camps here. There isn't a whole lot going on elsewhere. Slam is just going to secure it as YKT does his own stuff at bottom. I mean, right now, EDP absolutely have to know that something is up, and Slam makes his way into mid. He doesn't want to blink in. Triple X misses that death from above, but they're going to go on in. Onto Miku. Miku in some trouble. Miku gets taken down. And Paranoia gets in the middle of all of them, but a big, beautiful shock out of Kefla does some great damage to EDP, and it is the fight that fundamentals we're looking for. Meanwhile, though, Wasim doing some work on the other side. Kefla tanking up most of it for his team. Support only taken low. Triple X getting in underneath the tower. He is going to tank it up and eventually fall down. Wasim, now it's 2v1. Make it a 1v1 as he's using the tower to help him out here, and he takes down 3 underneath. As fundamentals just go a bit too deep for it, allowing Wasim to get a lot of kills, and that's exactly the person that you don't want to see having a great early game because of exactly what he did in the last one. We've seen what Marin can do. He's gone 2-0-1 so far, and this opens up the Abyssal Dragon for EDP. It was just a strange decision for fundamentals. I mean, sure, you can go underneath the tower and tank like that, but you absolutely have to communicate that with your team. You can expect them to follow up, but you have to tell them. You have to tell them, I'm going for this. I'm taking down Wasim. And eventually, he was the one that didn't go down. He was the one that ended up staying alive. Kefla doing some good damage with the cleave. Beautiful knock up onto 2. Make it 3 as YKT is doing some work. Colossal Blitzo is here. And here's the Zennial to turn things around. Fundamentals getting punished for going for this one. But are they getting punished hard enough? Miku's walking on in. He's getting the stun out on the Slam. He's staying away from Triple X, blinking away there, getting the flicker out. He's staying alive. But I would say that fight is about a wash. Our net worth is very even at this point. 12.7k for each. It was a good turnaround from the Zennial, but EDP just aren't really in the position to take advantage of that right now. So things are going to calm down. We're even on the net worth. Kefla's hanging out at mid. His ultimate is off cooldown, so he is ready to go. Might be thinking about it right now. He's in a very advanced position inside the brush. Colossal Blitz could guess. Decides not to. Honestly, I'd like to see more guesses out of Minas. Like, why not? Miku is slowed down. He's got that stun going. Triple X is ready to go. Here comes the shock out of Kefla. The lockdown and take down the teamie. Miku just a little bit aggressive there. Thought he had more, but in reality, he did not. Taking down the bird in the river are fundamentals. They're getting set up in the mid lane. Wasim is low. He is dangerously low at this point. Colossal Blitz just easily taken down by fundamentals. We're looking much better here in game 2. Now, they are slightly behind in the net worth, but that tower will take care of that deficit. And Paranoia, it's probably not very wise to go for him that hard. Inside the jungle, Slam taken low. But Wasim is not going to secure anything just yet. Fundamentals with an aggressive position here. Meanwhile, though, Scud, he's making things work in the top lane. I mean, look how far he just takes down that tower with a couple of hits. He's got that siege minion helping him out as well. He's not afraid of a lumber, not at all. Abyssal Dragon time, though, for fundamentals. Triple X will take it down. They'll probably have to give up Kefla for it. They do. And YKT, he's like, team? 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 He will fall. Top tier 2 taken down within inches of its health for support only. So he did a lot of work there. His team is pushing in bottom. This is looking pretty alright for EDP, but they have to continue to push their advantage here, and they cannot give up too many kills. Triple X staying away from the teamie for now. Stun will not hit. So he tries to get a little bit of harassment at the tower, then gets the hell out of dodge. We've got Lumber making some towers fall on top. And Kefla looking for an opportunity here. Yeah, YKT running on in. Thought about that Rend. Oh man, that bird takes Colossal Blitz down to absolute. We call that absolute health here. It's just the border between alive and absolutely dead. But there will be one kill going the way of Fundamentals, looking to get a little bit more here. Wasim taken down. That's a big one, but he does resurrect as the Marin. YKT is low. Here comes support only with a big double on the backside. Paranoia is now here. Kefla has a lot of damage potential. They have to be careful. They cannot let him cleave like that. He can heal up as well. Kefla gets in, and he will fall. Support only taken down low, but will not fall. As EDP stands strong in their battle against Fundamentals and hold there too. Still not a bad fight for Fundamentals, but I don't think that EDP are going to be too worried. Teammate taking some damage with the flurry of blows of Triple X in the mid lane. Almost getting taken down. Can Mina save him? There's a stun. There's the Death Scythe bringing him back. It's not going to be time for that taunt though. So Zephys will stay alive for now and continue to farm up throughout the jungle. We take a look at the items here. We can see quite a bit being built up. Most net worth though belongs to the Zenial and the Marin for EDP, and that is definitely shown in that net worth graph. Now Marin takes the Abyssal Dragon. Colossal Blitz will fall. They're not really too worried about it because EDP are taking advantage of other places on the map. Teamy pushing in mid. We've got support only on the Scud pushing in top, and we've seen the damage that he can do to the towers. He's probably just going to walk in and take this. I mean, it really wasn't a question at all. Meanwhile, Zenial is still hanging out at the base. Haven't really seen him for a couple of minutes, and he might be disconnected. Or maybe he's got something better to do with his life than play AoV. I don't really know how that's possible, but hey, I'm not going to judge. But that's definitely making things a lot easier for Fundamentals. That is one less player that they have to contend with. Zenial, or rather the Zephyrs, running forward. Kefla there as well. That's going to sound the hasty retreat for EDP. Now, Zenial is back. You can see him moving around in the bottom lane. He is ready for any fight that comes up. Could be setting up a fight inside the jungle. Colossal Blitz looking for a Paranoia. He walks on in. Face checks the brush. Does get stunned, but he is very tanky, and he can continue to fly around. But Triple X takes down the Darkslayer. That's not a bad take. Unfortunately, that does not guarantee a win for your team. YKT gets taken down, and Slam is getting caught out as well. He's not able to teleport out. Tried for it there, but in the end, he falls. Even though his team has a Darkslayer buff, Fundamentals, they weren't able to secure anything for themselves. Not yet, at least. Maybe they find a fight here. Kefla being engaged on by Miku. Miku taking the tower. He tanked it for a little bit long, but still, Kefla will just try to sacrifice his life to help his team out with anything. Zephy's in the middle of all five, looking to get something done. Will take down Miku, but again, that's just a teamie. A very good teamie, but still just a teamie. And he falls. And EDP continue to control the jungle. And at that point, you can just see that net worth lead in favor of EDP. They've got almost 6K at this point. It is a pretty big deficit and difficult to make up. Wasim tried to steal that buff away. Wasn't quite able to do it. And so Fundamentals, they're just trying to keep anything they can on the map right now. Maybe... no, they can't engage right now. YKT looking for the Rend, but it's not there. And so, Fundamentals, no Darkslayer buff on their side. Miku walking into 4, like the boss that he is. Just providing a little bit of space for his team as the rest of them go for the Abyssal Dragon. And at this point, Fundamentals, you have to be thinking, like, what exactly is the play from EDP? Are they going to go for some baiting? Oh, you wouldn't bait the Scud. Scud is dead. Nice pickup for fundamentals. They're even on kills. But the advantage is still on the side of EDP. Morin doing some damage here. Here comes Paranoia, keeping his team alive. And the Lumber ultimate is huge. Out on the 2. YKT running around. He's going to get pulled right back on in with that scythe. Colossal Blitz doing some great work and some great damage there. The bird comes through. It won't kill off Colossal. And Wasim once more. Team E trying to go forward. The hook goes out onto 12 nuns. And that will be there for another kill on the side of EDP. And you have to think that they're looking for their avenue to end this one here as well. I like that they're not just sitting in the mid lane waiting for that to push in. This is definitely a 2-lane pushing team. Again, you have support only playing the Scud. We've seen the damage that he can do to a tower. And the rest of the team, they are definitely nothing to laugh at when it comes to taking these down. And Colossal Blitz is right next to Kefla. Is that who you want to go on to? The bird comes through from Slam. And Wasim is ready. He is so ready to put down some huge damage out on the fundamentals. Kefla taking low, but he's not dead just yet. Here comes Triple X. He's trying to get anything done, but he can't do it. He gets taken down. The tier 3 tower will fall. Colossal Blitz wants to continue to be aggressive, looking for a rent from YKT. He is going to not be able to get it off, as Lumber does anything that he can to keep these boys out of his own base. Support only gets taken down, and there's only a couple heroes left. They're stacked on top of each other. Kefla about to fall. He will, but I don't think it's over just yet. Wasim is standing on strong for his team, but Miku gets another beautiful stun off, gets the hook over to YKT. Wasim will chase. Maybe looking to end the game here. YKT, again, not getting the rend off, and Wasim is so aggressive. He was trying to 1v1 the base. The base will win out for now. All he needs is a minion wave, and he is not going to get it before Triple X respawns. But, again, that is within inches of the game ending there. Triple X looking for Wasim. He'll dive into the brush. And are they just going to let it end? No. They're still fighting. Fundamentals ready to give it their all here in game 2. And why not? You know, if you're going to be that close to getting knocked out, you may as well give it your all. So we got time for setup. EDP just looking for their move. They're clearing the jungle. You know, you cannot get too aggressive at this point because we've seen how teams can come back. Abyssal Dragon quickly taken by Wasim and Colossal, keeping the gold on their side. Scud keeping top pushed in. The rest of the team keeping in mid with Zenial at bottom. He can always get out with Wasim chasing down Slam inside the jungle. He is untethered here and taking down a lot of heroes. Lumber ultimate coming through. Wasim maybe a little bit too far forward. He is going to try to stand strong. Shock is not going to be avoided. He actually walks back on into it, and that gives Kefla the window that he needs to take down some of these heroes. Fundamentals standing strong inside their own jungle, but there goes the base. Scud with the back door will end up taking it here for EDP and ending this series with just 2 games played here for EDP. I mean, it was a good showing. Fundamentals stood strong to the end, but at the end of it all, EDP just had a really good strategy coming into it. They knew how to move around the map. They had the individual skill to back themselves up, and when you have the combination of strategy and individual skill, it's hard to stand against that. I mean, Fundamentals have some very good players, but it's a team that wins these games, and the better team this time around was EDP. Still look forward to seeing Fundamentals in the next event. They had a great showing here, had a great series to start, and a good luck to them in their future events. Look at that damage, 170,000 by Wasim. That's just absolutely ridiculous. Maybe his team wasn't pulling up the slack, but we saw that they worked really well together, and sure, why not? Why can't Wasim do 170,000 damage if his team is working that well as well? So, with that being said, I think, we'll go a break. I'll come up with an update of where we are. I think we were only supposed to do 2 rounds today. I guess the rest of them will be played out tomorrow. So I will give you an update on where we are in terms of our future coverage. So thank you for watching. You can follow me on Twitter at PythianLegume or using the exclamation Twitter command in the chat. And I want to thank all you beautiful people for watching. And